All right, so here we got another one here. This one is fresh from Goodwill. This is a PlayStation Rock Band 2 guitar. Upside down. We're gonna try to mod this real quick. This one I don't think I have opened. This one I just got from an auction. The Rock Band 2s are usually dark wood, body colored strum axle, or whatever you want to call that. PlayStation button, start, select with the pickup selector. Rock Band 3 would be, usually doesn't have a pickup selector. Just don't mind that right now. But we're going to open this and we are going to mod it with the replacement board. Get this working. And a new update is that the new version of Sandtroller, which is also my guide or my software that I run, has Xbox 360 authorization. So not only will these boards work with Wii, PS3, PC, these will also work with Xbox 360. Once again, I got my trusty, actually this is not an iFixit. I think I said it was an iFixit before. I think this is just from Walmart. But anyway, I think there's an iFixit PH2 bit. Definitely do Phillips 2 with these, especially the narrow ones. The thick ones don't. Like if you have a Craftsman, like one of these style, it doesn't fit in these holes. PH2 though, don't cam them out. Actually, before we do this time I'm gonna test it to see if this is, the battery contacts do look in good shape. It's a good sign. Sometimes they get rusted out. I'm gonna see if this turns on. Last time it wasn't turning on and there was a battery issue. We can always check before we run it. And powered on. Yep, and got the red player indicators. Sync button. Yep, this seems to be in good order. We will turn off the guitar. Take these batteries out so we don't short anything. And we're gonna unscrew it. Just pay attention. These are usually normal screws on the Rock Band 2. These three on the bottom sometimes are tinier. You do want to put them in the right spots. Use a Phillips 2 with a narrow head. And just go about unscrewing this. But yeah, the new update does do Xbox 360 natively. You don't need to have your system RGH. That's how I usually play. But if you're doing wired, Sanjay did do the figured out that authorization. So it will work on Xbox 360 natively, PS3 obviously natively, PS4, Rock Band 4 in PS3 mode natively, Wii obviously in Rock Band mode. You will have problems with some of the early Guitar Heroes that didn't have Rock Band instruments, but I usually play those on PS2 anyway. Yeah, the most fun part about a Strat or any of these Rock Band guitars is all the screws. So when we do these boards, if you have a Rock Band 2, half of them are with a Rock Band 2 board. The other half are usually say like Hofner board. It'll also be a Rock Band 2 board. Rock Band 2 board works usually on Rock Band 3, depending on the descriptor. It just doesn't have the pickup selector. Obviously, most of the Beatles, including like the Gretsch, Hofner, you will have to check the board. I've had Hofners that did not have a Hofner board, that had Rock Band 2 board, which is a bit silly. And then it's funny, sometimes you'll see Rock Band 3 guitars with the Hofner board. So this generation of the Rock Band 2 boards, the Hofner versus the RB2 guitar board, wireless guitar board, They're pretty interchangeable depending on what factory and what time it was built. Also, obviously, this is going for Wii and PlayStation variants. The Xbox 360 is a little problematic. This scratches Xbox 360. It's really close to the Rock Band 2 board, but the LED indicators are a little different the way Xbox does it. If you get a Strat Rock Band 2, that's just way different. It has a different board, different everything, really. So I don't recommend that until I figure that one out. The D-pad's gated, so even if you do have adapters to put one of my boards in, you will have to do some crimping and maybe some soldering to get the strum to work, which is a little important. So, all right. The neck has these long screws. Just be careful with them. Don't go crazy. Don't cam out your screws. Remember, it's metal into plastic, so you don't want to go hog wild. But yeah, about 20 screws or so. I think on the Hofner base, I counted 200 and some screws. Anyway, this is the Strat. Let's pop it out, see what's going on. When you pop it out, there's going to be a wire right here. And we are going to make sure that we don't damage that. Otherwise, you will lose battery function for wireless. Just pop it off to the side. And this seems to be a Contel RB2 wireless guitar with the 2008 88 identifier. These are very common on the Wii and PlayStation variants. All right, so let me see here. Got one of my handy dandy RB2s that I just made. At this point, you do want to take a photo once you get it open that first time, because we will have to try to match what we got going on here. Rock Band 2, there's a little bit of weirdness usually with where the LED versus the guide, because they're both 5-pin connectors. I'll go over that when we get to that point. But you would have to pick for this one, the one that matches on the site. But we'll have that there. All right, now to get the board out, do need to go for a smaller screwdriver. I like the Japanese smaller screwdrivers, but I'm sure a PH1 would work, like just a small Phillips screwdriver. These are the Japanese Phillips. They tend to fit with all the PCB stuff pretty good. Undo those. Oh, we do need to take out the battery, so we give ourselves a little more room. There will be glue a lot of times securing these JST plugs, these white plugs. You'll just scrape them off really carefully. This one doesn't seem to have much glue. And then the trick is, you can pop some of this glue out just to give yourself some room. You take a really sharp tweezer, like one of these, and you're gonna really carefully lift up these little tabs and carefully pull out the connector, like that. I'm being a little rough here. You might want to take your time, get in there, and you do not want to damage these. You don't want to just yank them out, because you will damage the plugs very easily, because they lock. On each side there's a little locking tab. I don't know if you can see that. Here and here. Just take a sharp tweezers, lift up the little tab, get underneath, lift up the tab, pull it a little bit. Obviously, probably pull on the sides, not by the cord like I'm doing. I'm not too worried though, because I can repair these pretty easily. If you don't know how to repair them, you're gonna be in big trouble if you yank one of these wires out of the crimps. But otherwise, just keep going all the way around. I like to take the screws out, just give myself a little more room. But, you know, whichever way you like to do it best. Just go right down the ways, hitting each one of these, pulling up the tabs. Careful not to break them. And just keep going until they're all out. Like I said, these JSTs, they lock nice, but they are a little delicate sometimes. I have pulled them out before and ruined a cable or taken out the whole plug. If you pull this too hard, this whole white piece will come out, and that's not good either. I mean, you can repair it, but it's a little disconcerting. So I just go right down the board. Now on the Rock Band 2s, there are some extra connectors that you're not going to use, especially the ones for the calibration with Rock Band, the optical and the microphone sensor. We are not going to put those in. There's not really a use for them as of this moment. Maybe in the future there will be a I don't know, something with LEDs or who knows, some kind of synchronization. Do a Rock Band stage kit. But we're not at that level. We just want to play the games. Okay. Like I said, these are very annoying. Lifting up tabs, pulling them out. Lifting up tabs, pulling them out. There we go. Got that one out. Now you would take your photo, and we are going to have to match it up pretty close. You know, this is pretty close to what that is. Rock Band 2 has the bind right here in the middle, but we are going to put it down here. But we just have to pay attention to that. But then, assembly is pretty easy. You're just going to go right in. And that would be the neck for the frets. Pay attention to the wiring from your pictures. This one goes to the pickup selector, which will be labeled pickup on the bottom there. And then of course we have the strum. You'll see it that there's 4 wires, 2 to each strum. That goes in the strum section. The D-pad is this bigger one. That goes to the D-pad, obviously. You pop that in. Then we got to check the whammy. The whammy's going to go into the whammy section, and you'll see it, the wire going in there. If they get mixed up, it's not a huge deal, but it'll be hard to configure it later. This one is the odd man out. This one goes over here, and you'll see it goes to some weird stuff under the D-pad. That is the optical sensor and the microphone for calibration. We are not going to use that. Just tuck that away for now. Okay, bind is going to be that little white sync button here. And you'll see there's a little 2 connector that goes all the way to where those LED indicators are and the guide button or PlayStation button is. This tiny little white button here. You'll see 2 wires going to the board there. That goes down here, not up here where it is in your picture. That's going to be a little funny, so it's going to have to go all the way down here. And then sometimes, you also have to pay attention to which one of these 5 boards, 5-pin connectors go into which. Now the top 5-pin connector is for the LED indicators, the player indicators. The bottom one controls the guide, PlayStation, Wii button, and the backlight for that button. So if you see this one with the PS or the Wii, whatever board, this one you're gonna follow to this. This is not gonna go into the player one because that'll mess it up. We're gonna go put it on the bottom to where the guide is. This next one goes all the way to where the little tiny board under the PlayStation button is. And that does those 4 little lights. That'll go into the top one. And then last, one of the things that makes it a Rock Band 2 board, biggest identifier, is this 3-wire tilt. It's not a normal 2-wire digital tilt like with every other guitar. It's actually analog going to a digital switch that's also read as digital. So for some reason, this board has to be powered with 3-volt. Only the Rock Band 2s and the ones that use the Rock Band 2 boards really do that. Most of the other ones are just simple ball switches. So, but this one, Rock Band 2, the biggest way to know that you need this board is the 3 wires, and that's going to go in the tilt section. Okay, now got the board. You get the Pico. This would be your programmed Pico. I would program it with the Rock Band 2 software, or else if you buy them from me, I'll program them for you. I will have my Builder app up soon. I mean, I keep saying that, but for now you can use Sandtroller. I have some settings files or a UF2 that you can flash on. That's how you get the newest updates. But I would program it before you install it. That would just go into here. Just pop right in. And then we'll pop this in. The board should fit just right. We have the, seem to be missing one of my little screws, but let's screw this in. Oh, yep. Just do some wire management to clean it up. I'm not going to worry too much because I just want to get it to work. Show you that we can modify this thing in like around 15 to 20 minutes on me, but I would take your time. Just kind of doing a speed one here just to show you how it typically works. Everything's nice and locked. You can glue these again if you want to lock them in even more. We will put the battery one in last once it's all filled together or put together. All right, and we can just close it up. Oh, you would also probably use a long micro USB cord. I like these cheap ones from Amazon. I might get some from AliExpress. That would work. It needs to be a data, not just a charging cable. And that would just plug right in here. And usually I would just take it out on a Strat through this hole. There's a little spacer piece that goes here. This is perfect size for a USB cord. I mean, you could tie it around a post here if you wanted, make a knot so it doesn't yank. But you know, get a nice long data cable, micro USB cord, plug it into the Pico. But let's test the batteries. You close it up, pop in the batteries, turn it on, and look at that. We got the PlayStation button lighting up. The player indicators will also light up once it's plugged into a PC or you know, hooked up to a dongle. I will have the wireless dongles on my Etsy shop soon, but as of now, you can just use a Pico W really. I mean, Pico W does the wireless. It's really nice, especially if you don't want to pull a cord. And yeah, that's about it really. You can plug it in here. That also lights up the light. And just close it all up. Screw it all in, and you're good to go.